Welcome to a episode of Who's Your Caddy. I am Adam Hallas, and I am alone. Kelly is out, and she is feeling a little bit under the weather, but we hope that she's doing okay. So this week we will be going into the Travelers Championship and looking at some of the people that you should be investing in. We'll recap a little bit about the U.S. Open, and then we'll talk about TPC River Highlands. So, hope you guys are ready to go. All right. So last week was an up and down week. It was the U.S. Open, and one of our favorite golfers, Ricky Fowler, did great. And with his performance in last week's tournament, he now cements himself as the top 35 player in the world, which he hasn't been since 2020. So we're happy, being Ricky Fowler fans. We're happy that he has cracked the top 40. So we're good there. As far as some of our players, Victor Hovland did okay, and then Tyrell Hatton kind of let us down a little bit. But overall, it was an up and down weekend. I don't think anybody did particularly well, even though that Tom Kim ended up playing well. And we congratulate Wyndham Clark on his win as well. I think him kind of pulling out all the stops and kind of going for it was put on a pretty good show. So with that being said, we have the Travelers Championship this week. It is not going to be as tough, and it's not going to be as low or high scoring, I guess, as the past couple weeks have been. So it's at TPC River Highlands, which is a much shorter course. So we're looking at under sub 7,000 yards. And that also means that it is a second shot type course. And it gives a lot of the players that don't hit on off the tee kind of the great equalizer to hit their irons and approaches onto the green. Now, it doesn't mean it is just a walk through the park by any means. 16 through 18 holes are surrounded by water. So 16th is a par 3 hole. It does have a false front, and then if you go long, you'll end up in the bunker. So it's certainly intimidating if you're closing out a round and you think you're doing okay, because then you go on 17, which is almost a 90-degree angle approach. So you have to hit it accurate, because then you have water on both sides of your shot. So it is going to be tough on that long stretch, but overall, we are looking at a few stats when we look at TPC River Highlands. So we are going to look at a little bit about course history, because the Travelers Championship has been played here for quite some time. So if we look at course history, we look at approach, we look at shots gained around the green. I'm looking at putting. And then last but not least is we are looking for pretty good ball strikers. So we're going to look at birdie or better percentage. We're going to look at par 4 scoring, and we're going to look at par 5 scoring as well. Xander won it last year at minus 19. So it gives you any indication on how low the scores are going to be. It's very possible that the cut's going to be -2. It's possible -3. I don't think it'd be that much, but who knows? But yeah, so it's playing a lot shorter course, and from what we can tell, if you're putting a model together, if you have one of those wonderful Excel sheets that allow you to put the models together and kind of sort out your golfers, on average, we've looked at, you'll need to look at somebody that has a driving accuracy of 65% or better. That is Birdie or better percentage of better than 19%. Um, Last year, greens and regulation percentage was 71%, which is up 3 percentage points from the year before. So that gives you an indication. So we'll have to be looking at there. Last year, some of the strokes that were gained the most, some of the that gained the most were around the green, accuracy, and then off the tee. But really, we also have to look at approach. And most of the strokes that were gained on approach or shots taken on approach were between 125 yards to 150, and then 150 to 175 by far. So look at those. And then, hey, Wendy, nice to see you. Thank you for jumping in. So obviously, we have to get to who we want to invest in. I just got done watching The Big Short. So I really in on the investing side. Who's up, who's not, who's a bubble, who's not a bubble, and which one of our golfers is the looming housing crisis and could just kill our lineups, and who's the determined graded bond that's going to give us the most return for our money for our lineups in whatever tournament we're going to play in. So that being said, a lot of our blue chip stocks that we're looking at, Scheffler, Rory, Rahm, Schauffele, and Cantley. Of those blue chip stocks that you're looking at, so those guys in the 10,000 range, Scheffler's in the 11,000 range for pricing. Patrick Cantley has the best history here, and he has the overall best attributes to kind of step away from those and win that within that price range. Obviously, Xander won it last year. He's also one that can kind of contend with Cantley, but I think Cantley might edge Schauffele this go around. Doesn't mean that Scheffler, Rory, Rahm won't be up there. They certainly can be. Um, but of the blue chip plays, I'm looking at Patrick Cantley and Xander Schauffele. Kind of in that next round of nine or so range. Kind of people I'm putting into my pool are Victor Hovland, playing great golf. As far as his approach go, there's no one better than him in this particular range. Um, I mean, on his approach, he is just fantastic from, like I said, the 150 mark out, and then 150, 200, and then 100 to 150. He's fantastic in. And of his last tournaments, I mean, only two he hasn't gained strokes in on approach. So he's looking dandy there, and certainly dandy off the tee as well. So he's going to be one of my favorites. I do have Tony Finau in my pool, Tommy Fleetwood, and of course Ricky Fowler. Ricky Fowler is also in my pool, and I'm going to say this because he is the if you're looking for the all sides on the course fit tool and just how good he's getting, it's almost a perfect pentagram. But he leans slightly left to the around the green and the putting and the approach, which is going to be perfect for this course. I think he's really going to put on a show today or this weekend. Not today. Not today. It's a little early. I think the program's today. But I do like Ricky Fowler for in addition to my pool. That being said, going a little bit further down into the 800s or 8,000s, I do like Hideki. I know I've seen him touted around other places as well, but I think Hideki's going to do well here. Another guy that I see doing well here is Tom Kim. Tom Kim did pretty well at the Open as well. The only thing I worry about that is obviously sometimes people can get, after grinding it out on a tough tournament like that, they can be a little bit tired when they head into a tournament like this. But I think this offers a little bit more reprieve coming out of a tough grind as the U.S. Open. So I think he'll do well here. If you want to compare it to Tom Kim, why he's being touted a lot of the other places is he's kind of a birdie fest type of person. If we're looking at somebody that's going to be, good on approach, Pretty girl off the tee, and then good around the green. It's going to be Tom Kim. So I think on the Birdie Fest, Tom Kim is ready to go. And then going down a little bit, I think this is where you're going to stand apart. These people within the $7,000 range are going to help make your lineups um, money. And I think some of the people I'm looking at are Russell Henley and Harris English. I think Harris English has a very good history here. So is Russell Henley. And I think Harris English also shakes out pretty well here. He's not really long off the tee. We don't need him to be. We're only at 6,800 yards. His approach is at average level, but around the green and putting, he's been fantastic. Um, so I'm hoping that the water and other items don't get him in trouble. But I think Harris English will do pretty well. Now, if you're not a Harris English fan, totally understandable. We got Russell Henley for you. Russell Henley, the other side of the coin. Again, not on driving distance, but driving accuracy is there. Great on approach and great around the green. Russell Henley has a pretty good um, history here, and he's been playing great golf his last 3 events. He's placed top 20 or better. So 16, top 16, top 14. His approach has been stellar. He's been gained almost 2 strokes on approach on his past 9 tournaments. So it's going to be hard to pass him up, especially for this. Another person that plays well on these types of courses, and I say these types of courses, Pete Dye Design, is Brian Harman. Brian Harman is coming in really good at driving accuracy, okay in approach. He's a little bit better in average around the green and putting, but I think his course history here and the way he likes Pete Dye designs should put him pretty well on this. What could be at Birdie Fest. Again, if you look at other tournaments that have been Birdie Fest, he's been in the top 20 or better. So I think he will do well here. And then, last but not least, since we're on a shorter course and Kelly's not here, we have to do it just one time. Matt Kuchar, Mr. Kind Eyes. With Mr. Kind Eyes, his driving distance is not there, and he certainly had some difficulties putting during the U.S. Open. But I don't think we'll have as difficult putting on these, POA, Bermuda POA greens and POA. So I think overall, I think Kuchar has a chance here. They're very not long at all, but his driving accuracy is there. His approach is okay, his average. But around the green and putting has been pretty good, except again, U.S. Open, he lost 2 strokes putting. Granted, the putting surfaces at the U.S. Open were just getting drier and drier and drier, and the USGA just put this pins in just horrible positions. And I say horrible, entertaining positions. So, with that being said, I think he's going to do well in a little bit more of ease of use type course. Greens, I think they're more approachable. So yeah. And then, last but not least, let's not put it out here. My what the fuck pick is I'm going to go with Lee Hodges. Now, there's a couple players in this $6,000 range, and Lee Hodges is one of them. Again, pretty good history here. Overall, he's been playing great golf. While he's not stellar around the green and putting, his driving accuracy and approach has been pretty good. And he's a cut maker. Around the $6,000 range, we just need to make him the cut and let him do his thing from there. Now, when we look at other types of tournaments have been around this scoring, so I wouldn't say overly abundance of birdies. Where we're looking at minus 25 or anything like that, but minus 19, I would say is pretty much a birdie fest. He's done okay. He's been in the teens. He's been in top 20. But at $6,000, that's a pretty good value. And you know what? Value added pick, Mark Hubbard in that same range, same thing. So 15 minutes and you got all this good information. I don't know where else you can get that kind of value. Um, but anyway, hit me up at Mr. Hallas on Twitter. You can, hit Kelly up at Kelly in Phoenix on Twitter. Ask her some questions. Ask her how she's doing. Um, Ask her, we certainly missed her on the show. Outside of that, hope you guys have a great week. Show me some green lines out there. Once your tournament starts, lineups start cashing, and show me some green screens. Hope everything's good. All right. Talk to you later. Toodles.